her these two polar opposite things. Like after a night, she drives her car and you sit down and just feel free from it. And I remember thinking, like what is going on in this world? You have to arrange, 30 people have to arrange this whole thing. You would let her drive her car to feel free for 30 minutes? In what context? How is that? How she gets to feel free? I mean, the whole thing is fucked up. I'm sorry. Brittany and I become close. I could shoot her in a way that, not all the other camera people could. And so then we just, developed this sort of close-knit friendship. There were a lot of times she would ask me for help, whether it was questions about legal issues or, stuff about conservatorships. I would usually try and deflect these things just because if I didn't have an answer, I didn't want to give her wrong information. But I know that, there were times that she did want to speak out and address things and wasn't really able to. This People article came out. I think they had interviewed Kevin and, obviously talked about Brittany. And there was stuff she didn't really, she didn't agree with. And it's like she wanted to respond to it. And so, she wrote this letter and she gave it to me and she's like, can you go on TV? Can you read this on TV? What happened to Brittany was a year ago. People need to get with the times. And as for Kevin saying Brittany divorced him, she was forced to by her lawyers because she went to visit him in New York and he wouldn't see her and the children. And her lawyer said if she doesn't divorce him, he's going to do it himself. So Kevin trying to play the innocent victim is hardly irrelevant. He left her and the babies. Her going on the men partying 2 years ago has nothing to do with the situation now. She's a completely different person, and most of their fighting was done back then because of his problem waking and baking to marijuana at 5 o'clock in the morning. No one talks about these things because no one knows the truth. She was lied to and set up. Her children were taken away, and she did spin out of control, which any mother would in those circumstances. Now this year, Brittany's been silenced to speak out about anything that's really going on. The people controlling her life have made $3 million this year. She would love for new eyes to see her situation, but if she brings it up, she's constantly threatened that the conservators will take her kids away. So how long does this go on for? As long as the people are getting paid and she has no rights, it could go on for a while, but it doesn't make it right at all. Brittany's given her brother a $2 million apartment, her mother an estate in Louisiana, and her father the best job in show business. She's a very giving person who would love to get the respect she deserves. It was an emotional response to the article coming out, and it was like her first response. And for me not to read it on TV right away was also saying, why don't you just take a couple days and, cool down from this, and then a couple days later, maybe we can revisit it. Things like this would happen often. Not necessarily like this letter, but like trying to use my phone to call people. It's like those are the things I kind of had to look out for and just steer her away from. And then a couple of days later, I got a phone call from the lawyers. The letter had some information that would be really bad if it came out or something like that. And so all of a sudden the letter turned into a much bigger thing. And then, I just brought it in and showed it to them, and that was that.
You had no foresight to copy the letter.
I mean, I wouldn't call it foresight. I think that when she gave it to me, we took a picture of it because I feel like I didn't want to actually carry the letter.
And what was that experience like for you?
I mean, again, I always just felt bad for her. I felt bad that, this was the reality of the world. Where, she gave me a letter, and then all of a sudden, this huge fire alarm goes off. It was, crazy. All she wanted to do was, respond to an article.
How much longer did you want to bring that participant in the story I was trying to cover objectively? But at that point, I had known Brittany Spears for a decade almost. And so I cared about her in a human way that there was no denying it at that point, that I could be more useful as a good Samaritan almost than another journalist trying to cover the story.
Anything to say about the conservatorship today?
Sam explained to me that I would need to go to the montage and she would be waiting for me and she would know to come meet me in the bathroom.